staged.
With
Correct.
honest review from me. So, kung
We
mamakyo
will
ako,
see you
mamakyo
later,
ko.
people. We will see you later. Bye-bye for now.
With honest review yan, guys, ha?
True.
Reminisce the memories and the good times at Siesta Música.
Early morning sunshine.
Ikaw, mahal tanging ikaw.
I sail over seven seas to find
Your greatest love songs all the way from 2 to 4 every Saturday at Siesta Música. Join Dream Car the Announcer at Siesta Música every Saturday from 2 to 4 in the afternoon dito sa inyong nag-iisang himpilan, Cool FM. Mapapakul ka dito!
You're listening to Cool FM. Cool FM is a TVH Group of Networks radio station. Sondo's greatest hits are here. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews Primetime.
From the headquarters of Cool FM, I'm Dream Car Karaoke.
And I'm Royal Orange. And on the news tonight,
Today is July 10, Wednesday, and topping our news tonight, PCG looking at two vessels over missing Filipino fishermen off Subic. The Philippine Coast Guard is looking into two vessels that may have hit a Philippine boat off Subic, Zambales on July 3, leading to the disappearance of one fisherman. Its spokesperson said on Wednesday, interviewed on Super Radio DZBB, PCG spokesperson Rear Admiral Armando Balilo said one was boat carrier while the other was a cargo vessel. Both came from China and were going to Indonesia. According to Balilo, ang alam ko na co-coordinate yung aming Port State Control Officer doon sa Port State Control ng Indonesia. Hindi ko lang malaman kung ngayon yung dating niya roon or bukas. So para masabi lang doon sa Port State Control ng Indonesia na mayroong ganitong insidente. The PCG previously said that brothers Robert and Jose Mondoñedo embarked from Barangay Wawandawe in Subic on July 1 to reach their payao, a floating aggregate device used to attach fish in the vicinity waters of Sampaloc Point. Robert said that their boat was hit by another vessel at around 3 p.m. on July 3, causing it to sink and for Jose to go missing. According to Balilo, their search and rescue operations are ongoing for the still missing fishermen. Once again, said by Balilo, wala pa rin tayo nakikita pero hindi tayo titigil at subukan natin lalawakan pa yung operations natin. At nagbigay na rin tayo ng notice to mariners kapag meron barko na dumaan doon at nasagip para mabigay na't alam sa atin. Also, our news tonight, Senate panel orders issuance of arrest warrant versus Alice Guo. A Senate committee on Wednesday ordered an issuance of an arrest order against suspended Bambang Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo after they skipped the resumption of the investigation on the rated Pogo Hub in her town. Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada moved to issue the arrest order against Guo, which was approved by Senator Rita Hontiveros, the chairperson of the Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality. Senator Sharon Gatella also moved to cite Guo in contempt along with her relatives who were issued subpoenas, particularly her father, Jan Zong Guo, suspected biological mother, Wen Yi Lin, and siblings Sei Men, Wesley, and Sheila. Apart from their Guo family, Dennis Konanan and Nancy Gamo were also cited in contempt. According to Katsalyan, di nagiging kumpleto ang ating mga hearing kung wala na ang mga personalidad na ito. According to Hontiveros, the recommendation to cite them in the contempt will be referred to the Senate President for his signature. Meanwhile, the following were subpoenaed by the committee: Jaime Cruz, Rodrigo Pujante, Juan Miguel Alpas, Catherine Cassandra Ong, Alberto Rodolfo de la Serna, Jonathan Mendoza, Robilin Paterna, Michael Bryce Mascarenas, Stephanie Mascarenas, Rodrigo Banda, Jing Gu, Xiang Tan, Daniel Salcedo Jr., Chona Alejandre, and Duanren Wu. Senate President Francis G. Escudero on Tuesday committed to sign the warrant of arrest against Go if there will be a formal motion from the Senate committee. In making the motion, Gatchalian said dismissing the subpoenas issued by the committee is a disrespect to the Senate as an institution and its process to uncover the truth. Hontiveros said Go has sent a letter to the committee saying she could not attend the hearing due to health and mental health concerns. The letter, however, was not backed by a medical certificate. We find her claims in the letter void of credibility. Senator Nancy Binay, who also made a manifestation, said Go in contempt, took a swipe at Go's use of mental health issues in skipping the Senate investigation. According to Binay, ang sa akin lang, nakakahiya naman po sa mga tunay na may mental health condition. Seryosong usapin ang mental health ay hindi po ito dapat ginagamit na dahilan para magsinungaling. Sought for comment, Go's lawyer Stephen David said they expected the issuance of an arrest order. According to David, said in a phone interview with the media, hindi naman kami na-surprise kasi alam naman namin ang magiging implication kapag hindi ka nag-honor ng subpoena ng Senate, Congress, or Korte. He said he would follow up with Go to find out if their condition had improved. Basta kaya ng nag-attend naman siya dati, di ba? Kaya lang pag kaya niya talaga, actually, i-encourage ko talaga siya mag-attend. When asked about Go's relatives, David said he had no knowledge about them. Also, David also said Go has medical conditions and was given medications, but the doctors are afraid to issue a medical certificate because they might be called to testify before the Senate. Also in the news tonight, Marcos sees no issue in accepting private help to fund 10 million pesos reward for Kibuloy's arrest. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Wednesday justified a privately funded 10 million peso reward for the arrest of televangelist Apollo Kibuloy, saying that it was the fugitive pastor who needed to do some explaining. Kibuloy, who was refused to appear before a Senate investigation panel and who was snubbed arrest warrants, questioned why the government received 10 million pesos from private individuals to fund a reward for his capture. According to Marcos Jr., bakit hindi? You want to help us bring a fugitive to justice. He is a fugitive. He is hiding from the law. If there are private citizens who want to arrest the government in that effort to bring him to the justice, I don't see why it is an issue. According to Marcos Jr., Marcos said that Kibuloy has the right to question their motives as such as he wants, but he needs to appear before authorities first. So according to Marcos Jr., I questioned his motives. Bakit kami laging kine-question? Tinusundan lang naman namin ang batas. Sundin din siya ang batas. The government has failed to serve arrest warrants against Kibuloy for sexual harassment of minors and other cases like after the Dabaño pastor barricaded his house and went into hiding. Kibuloy denied the allegations against him in courts in Davao City in Pasig, saying these were recycled and came from this told former members of this Kingdom of Jesus Christ group. He has said that the same of the charges against him in the US, where he is also the subject of the warrant of arrest. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice said those with knowledge on Kibuloy's whereabouts should cooperate with authorities. According to Jesse Andres, those who stand in the way of the enforcement are actually guilty of obstruction of justice. With or without the incentive, the community should really help to give the accused a chance to clear his name in court where due process will be observed to the health consistent with the constitutional guarantees. Also, Pogo hubs will no longer be allowed, according to the PAGCOR chief. Philippine offshore gaming operator hubs will not be allowed anymore. State gaming regulator said by Chief Alejandro Tenco, disclosed the new policy when Senator Sherwin Gatchalian sought for an assurance that criminalities from Pogos will not happen again. Gatchalian mentioned in particular the raided Pogo firm from Porac, Pampanga last month, which was allegedly being used for human trafficking and other criminal activities such as torture. Initially, Tenko said he could not make such a promise, but added that PAGCOR will do its best to strictly monitor the remaining 43 licensed Pogo firms. He said that they will be doing some enhancements, and one of them is to ban Pogo hubs. According to the PAGCOR chief, we're coming up with certain guidelines. We're already banning hubs. In the meantime, there is no order for closure. This early I can inform everybody that we will not allow any hub existing or going to be applied for. We will not approve it anywhere because we want it to be site specific and be a building specific. POGCOR will also assign 24.7 teams that will monitor the 43 licensed POGO firms. Hopefully, that can differ Editor, hopefully kung may napansin ka agad, takbo na kami sa kapulisan para malaman. Pero, mahirap ko pong sabihin na sa bulwagang ito at sa harapan nito na ito na po ang huli dahil kung talagang sabi nyo na may criminal intent talaga yung natitira baka hindi ko po talaga kayanin yung pag-monitor doon. Before this, Tico said POGCOR will not oppose should Congress and President Ferdinand Marcos decide to ban Pogos. Several lawmakers have been calling for a permanent ban of Pogos following a number of criminal activities like torture and human trafficking linked to the industry. And in our regional news, 7 missing persons in Carmen, Cebu retrieved. A 15-year-old boy the last of 7 persons who went missing on Carmen Town, North Cebu Province was retrieved at 12:10 in the afternoon last July. This was confirmed in a post by Carmen Mayor Carlo Villamor on his official account. At past 6 p.m. on July 9, 5 persons were recovered in the waters of the coastal area of Barangay Luyang. Earlier, the body of the 26-year-old newlywed 6-month pregnant woman was fished out of the waters with the help of the members of Luyang Fishermen's Association. Prior to this, a body of an 11-year-old girl was recovered hours after the incident happened in Barangay Cantumog on July 8. The other 7 persons are reportedly from Barangay Cantukong, also in Upland, Carmen. A pickup truck with 17 passengers crossed the river in the late afternoon of July 8, but a swollen river swept the truck away according to the State Weather Bureau Pag-asa's latest estimates. The rainfall dump on the day of the tragedy measured at about 40 Olympic-sized pools. When the truck was launched against a boulder, 10 persons crumbled up with the rock and survived, but the other 7 went missing. It was learned that the group spent an outing in a mountain resort and was on their way home. The outing was said to be an extended celebration of a wedding. The 25-year-old husband of the 26-year-old woman is among the casualties, along with a 12-year-old boy, a 12-year-old girl, and another 12-year-old boy. And here's our frequent thunderstorms signal transition to rainy season, but developing La Nina may delay it. State meteorologists said that the frequent afternoon and evening thunderstorms signal the transition from the warm and dry season to the rainy season in the Philippines. Since the beginning of May, northern and central Luzon as well as Mindanao have been experiencing thunderstorms. However, senior weather specialist Rusi Abastillas of the Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section said it will take more than a thunderstorm to declare the start of the rainy season. According to Abastillas from the ABS-CBN News, wala pa tayong westerly component na wind na minomonitor kasi yun ang isa sa mga criteria doon. Sa ating onset, dapat meron westerly winds. Even the transition already on its way, the beginning of the raining season may be slightly delayed because of the developing La Nina. According to Abastillas, ang impact kasi ng La Nina pag pre-developing, transitioning to El Nino to La Nina, yung pag nagbibigay minsan ng delay sa onset, tapos instead of expecting the above normal rainfall ng ating inaasahan pag may La Nina na, below normal during the habagat season. She said the onset of the rainy season may happen in June instead of the second half of May. In an advisory issued on May 6th, Pag-asa said El Nino continues to weaken and may move to a neutral condition around June before shifting to La Nina by July. And stay tuned for more news as DJ Sen for the second gap. It's now 9:14. We'll be back after this. Now for more news, here's Royal Orange. Royal?
Thank you, Dreamcar. Welcome back. A cadet of a maritime academy in Calamba City, Laguna, died after a senior officer ordered him to exercise as a punishment for committing a violation. Super Radio DZWB's Luisito Santos reported Wednesday that based on the initial investigation of the PNP Office 4A, suspect alias Nathaniel told victim Andrew to report to his cabin after committing an offense. The cadet was instructed to perform physical activity as punishment, but he suffered from shortness of breath and lost consciousness. He was rushed to the infirmary but was transferred to the Global Medical Center of Laguna due to a weak pulse rate. He was declared dead on arrival. The Calamba police also said the victim was full and had just finished dinner when the incident occurred. The suspect was turned over to the city police for investigation and proper disposition, the report added. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said two scions of the Aquino family, his clan's political rivals, visited First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos this week to thank her for her, quote, help in their travel arrangements. Joshua and Bimbi Aquino, grandsons of Marcos family critic and late Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr., went to the First Lady's office on July 9 and gave her a box full of souvenirs and gifts. Quote, the reason na pinuntahan nila si First Lady ay simple lang. I think it was Chris Aquino who needed some assistance for something, unquote, the president said when asked for the details about the meeting. He added, quote, it was just to help them for their travel arrangements. Tumulong si First Lady at yun lang. Sabi lang, magpapasalamat sila, unquote. Quote, I think it's a very fine gesture on the part of the Aquino family. I think it's sort of put a little more personal, a human interaction between our families, unquote. Senators Aquino's death on the tarmac of the Manila International Airport in 1983 triggered protests and condemnation against the Marcos family. Marcos Jr. also noted that his wife is related to the Aquinos. According to him, quote, until the presidency of Noynoy, talagang we were on different sides of the political aisle, he said. What reports did not say is Liza is their aunt dahil ang kanyang auntie ay napangasawa, the eldest brother of Cory, kaya very related, unquote. When asked if the feud between the rival political clans were settled, Marcos Jr. said, quote, we've always been okay. We just don't agree politically, unquote. Over to BARM, the Commission on Elections will launch a massive voter education campaign ahead of the first parliamentary election in the Bangsamoro region next year. According to the COMELEC, the program intends to educate the voting public on the 2025 BARRMM polls through a series of micro-summits starting this September, which will be hosted by the COMELEC Education and Information Department, or EID. During said micro-summits, experts from the COMELEC EID, the Law Department, and the Bangsamoro Electoral Office are expected to discuss the rudiments of the regional parliamentary elections, giving primary focus on what the voters in the region need to know and fully grasp. This includes the composition of the Bangsamoro Parliament, the system of proportional representation, the allocation of parliamentary seats, and the manner of their election. Voter education teams will also be deployed across the Bangsamoro region to conduct massive voter education and information drives at the ground level. Under the Bangsamoro Organic Law, a total of 80 parliamentary seats are at stake in the May 2025 polls. The allocation of the parliamentary seats are as follows. 40 will come from the representatives of regional political parties, 32 from representatives of parliamentary districts, and 8 seats are reserved for sectoral representatives. Meanwhile, over to the US, a slow league of Democratic lawmakers has begun to call for President Biden to withdraw from the race in the wake of his debate performance last month. Capitol Hill will be the focus of the attention this week as Democratic lawmakers face competing arguments about whether Mr. Biden should be the party's nominee. So far, 7 House Democrats have directly called on to the president to exit the race, namely Lloyd Doggett of Texas. He became the first Democratic lawmaker to call on Mr. Biden to drop out. Rahul Grijalva of Arizona, Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, Mike Kigley of Illinois, Angie Craig of Minnesota, Adam Smith of Washington, and Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey. Still, more congressional Democrats have publicly expressed support for Mr. Biden since the debate. And in recent days, some lawmakers have called for the party to unequivocally back the president, including prominent members of the powerful Congressional Black Caucus. Meanwhile, as lawmakers prepared to return to Washington after last week's recess, a group of senior House Democrats met with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries over Zoom Sunday night, where a person on the call and 3 people familiar with the meeting told CBS News that 3 more lawmakers said Mr. Biden should leave the race. Mr. Biden has been working to address concerns about his ability to serve another term, with a number of appearances in recent days, making clear his intention to stay in the race at every turn. From a highly anticipated interview with ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos on Friday to rallies in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania over the holiday weekend. On Monday, the president sent a letter to Democrats in Congress, saying he is, quote, firmly committed to staying in the race and making clear that, quote, I wouldn't be running again if I did not absolutely believe I was the best person to beat Donald Trump in 2024. Over to showbiz now. Kapuso primetime queens Marian Rivera Dantes did not buckle up and was up for the challenge when contestant Jeter Palomo asked her to translate her question into English at the question and answer portion of Century Tuna Superbod's 2024 finals in Marriott Manila Hotel last night. Rivera Dantes was among the celebrity judges at the last night's competition alongside actors Aga Mulak and Richard Gomez and Miss Universe 2015 Pia Wurtzbach. At the Q&A, the top 16 finalists were asked to pick from a bowl of the names of the judges who will give them their questions, and Palomo picked Marian. Marian initially asked Palomo, quote, dumami ang followers mo sa social media nung naging finalist ka. Papaano mo gagamitin ang opportunity na ito kahit natapos na ang competition na ito? Palomo, however, did not understand the question and asked Rivera, quote, I'm sorry, can I take that in English, please? After a short pause, Marian replied, I will try my best. The crowd then went wild and eagerly anticipated for Marian's translation. Quote, she began, listen very carefully, here's my question. Quote, your social media following grew when you became a finalist. How will you use this opportunity even after your Superbod journey? She asked, soliciting cheers from the host on X, formerly Twitter, that Shrek 5 will hit the big screen on July 1, 2026, 16 years after the previous episode was released. The big stars have already signed up again, according to the Post. Mike Myers will voice the eponymous ogre. Cameron Diaz will return as Princess Fiona, and Eddie Murphy will reprise his role as the irresponsible donkey. The first Shrek movie was a smash hit when it was released in 2001, spawning sequels in 2004, in 2007, and in 2010. Plus, there was also a spin-off, Puss in Boots movie featuring the outlaw cat voiced by Antonio Banderas, released in 2011, with a sequel released in 2022. Dream car?
And our final quote tonight from the late Prime Minister of Japan, Abe Shinzo. My opinion is that politicians should be humble in the face of history, and whenever history is a matter of debate, it should be left in the hands of historians and experts. That's our final quote tonight from the late Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. And
That's it for tonight here on koolNews Primetime. As always, thank you so much for your continuous trust and support. For more news and information, keep it right here on Cool FM. And you can send us an email at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com.
Cool News will return at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow with Cool News Early Edition with Us Fears. No. 6 a.m. tomorrow with Cool News Early Edition with Us Fears. Now, from the Cool FM headquarters, I'm Dreamcar Karaoke.
And I'm Royal Orange. You've been listening to Cool FM, the station that cares for you.
Have a good evening, stay safe, and take care. Good night and mabuhay. It's 9:22, back for Hangout with Mamon.